Start recording. Good morning. Happy Wednesday. Sun is shining. Welcome to the SHAC. Safe, happy and creative. Stay home and craft. Anybody there with me? It's great to be back in the saddle. Anybody there? Paul? Have we got a cup of tea? It's a beautiful sunny day here in the southeast of England today. What about where you are? You rock. You rock. Did you have a good Easter? Did you have a good weekend off? Hey, there they are. Good morning, Jilly. Good morning, Janet. Lovely to have your company. It's great to see you again. And today, we're going to do some colouring. How do you fancy that? Easter, you know, and spring is in the air. I think, are we officially in springtime yet? I think we are. Yeah, of course we are. Yeah, the evenings are stretching out a little bit now, aren't they? Hope is in the air. Don't you feel a sense of optimism? I do. I think it has also to do with the fact that I'm rejecting all the negativity at the moment. I'm making an absolute conscious effort to ignore the negativity, because I think if you hear it often enough, you'll end up believing it, you know? So there has to be a shut-off point. What can I do and what can't I do? What can I control and what can't I control? And I can control the telly. I don't have to watch it. And I don't have to watch the news. I can't control what's going on, but I can control how much I ingest. And so the last couple of nights I've slept like a lamb. And I think it has to do primarily with the fact that I haven't watched TV. You know that? In the evenings, we've sort of developed this habit of just sitting in front of the box, like flopping in front of the telly, and we say to ourselves, oh, well, it's okay, because we've got a log fire and there's the cats and it's all very cosy. But then you put on the telly and it's just violence and psycho war, and it doesn't do you much good just before you go into bed. I really don't think so. Oh, let's catch up with the news at 10 o'clock at night, just before we hit the hay. It's not sensible, is it? So the last couple of days, I haven't done that. And lo and behold, I've slept like a lamb. Weird, isn't it? Anyway, here we are in the SHAC. Everybody there? Are we ready to start colouring? It must be 10 o'clock already. Yeah, it is. Paul, are you in the building with me? I do hope so. I would appreciate a little text from you, Paul, just to let me know that the sound is good. Or Jilly, if you're there. Okie dokie. Right, now, shall we get started? I thought it was ages. Is it 10 o'clock? Yeah, it is. Welcome. I thought it's been ages since we... here we go. It's been ages since we did any colouring in our postcards, and I thought this would be the perfect opportunity to go back to some springtime bird colouring, you know, and so that's what we're going to do today. And I thought it would be nice to have a look at where we've been with our colouring. And what do I mean? Because there are loads of you have joined us in the meantime in the SHAC, you know, safe, happy and creative and all that, stay home and craft. And you might not even be familiar with our postcards. So let me just show you. This is one of the few things that we do encourage you to purchase because we use them to colour in. This is our vehicle for colouring in. And there are three sets of postcards. Look, 1, 2, 3. And they've got 7 postcards within each set. So that's 21 pictures. And then what we've been doing is, over the months, we've been taking different ones. Here we go. Look, this one's pretty much spent. Done it, haven't done it, haven't done it, done it, done it, done it. And a done it is a bird. So if you fancy getting these, they're great. Paul, I'm sure, what have we got here? Oh yeah. Paul, please do us a favour and give everybody a link to these, just in case they're either running out and need a second set, or they want to give them away as a present, as a little ticket to the party, to the SHAC party, that'd be great, because I thought today we'd start with one that we haven't done yet. So, have you guessed which one? I think it's in the title, isn't it? No surprises here then. Let's have a little look. Let's have a little look at where we've been. These are so cool. So we started with the nuthatches and we turned the trees into silver birches, didn't we? Then we did the cockerel, Dotty. Do you remember? Then we did the mandarin birds, the 5 of them. Oh, then we did the hummingbird with real dramatic black in the background. We did the owls. They were among my favourites, the owls. I love those. And then we went to watercolour, didn't we, with the parakeets. So it's a totally different feel, isn't it? Then we mixed and matched it with our blue tits, with our big tits. And then we did the eagles and we created a background. Do you remember? What did we call these? Twiglets. Not twiglets. So you can see that most of mine aren't even finished. I just jog on to the next job, don't I? But some of the artwork that I've seen on Facebook has been absolutely stupendous. Then we did the, this lavender fields, wasn't it? Glorious, with ducks. And then we did the toucan. If toucan, you can, we can, who can? Remember? They were lovely and bright. And then we went to that one that I drew. We couldn't decide what it was. A pied kingfisher we decided in the end, didn't we? We did all yellows and browns and loveliness. Did a sepia job. And I thought this time, yes, we'll go to, and it's in the blue, I think it's in the blue book. We're going to go to the Kingfisher. The Kingfishers. Let's have a look. Which one is it in? Let me just check so that you can find it, and then we can get started. It's not in the green. Postcard set 2. Oh, I can't see for looking. There's the Kingfisher. It's in the blue one. Kingfisher's in the blue one. There you go. It's through the blue door. There you go. Let's start with the Kingfishers. So we don't need much. We just need a postcard and we need a colouring pencils. So actually, we've got different ones, haven't we? I'm actually going to go with the pergoliners, but the B pencils, because I could find the colours in here. If you've got your polychromos, happy days. They're a real treat. You pick your colours. I'm going to go with the pergoliners because I know a lot of you have got these, and we've got lots of them. No, they're actually the nicer colours. I found they worked for me, these, really beautifully. And the only other thing that you do need, which isn't in the pergoliners, which is my beef, do you remember that set of 12 with the greys, all the polychromos, the greys ones, and the favourites, the ones for shading? Them you do need. And if you haven't got them, then get a pencil, an HB pencil, that'll do, or a black pencil, that's fine. Okay, so are we happy? Now before we begin, there's a birthday girl in the room. Anne Aiken, happy birthday to you. I know it's your birthday. I saw it on Facebook. So many happy returns to you, Anne, and I hope that you're doing well and that you have a lovely day. And I'm sure that everybody, on behalf of everybody in the SHAC, we wish you a very, very happy day. Right, now, shall we get started? What do we think? We've got 2 Kingfishers, and we've got, I've already made a start on this, so I wanted to show you where we're at. Let's have a look in the other camera, and then let's just take a look. This is what I'm going to try and, where we're going to go today. So, really bright on the crest, on the head, a bit more subtle on the wings, and then the chest is oranges. So it's I looked at a Kingfisher, and that's about right. So I thought we'd look at the Kingfisher today, and we'll just use B pencils. And then on, I don't know whether we'll get to it, maybe Friday or Monday. You know, we always meet Monday, Wednesday, Friday, don't we? Depending on which day we hit. Do you remember I was talking about maybe adding Forever Blue? So I was thinking, and this is why I'm mentioning it now, because you might want to, if you've only got one copy of this, make a copy of it. scan it now, right? You have my permission to do that. Right, either scan it or buy a new set, even better. But what I'm saying is, because I'd really like to try this as well, and so it's mica powder, and I'd like to get a shimmer, like a metallic shimmer on the bird as well. See how that works when we mix. Okay, so make a copy if you can. I'm waffling to give you a chance to do it before we get started, but it would be really good if you could make a copy of it. Failing that, just get the blue postcards. Right, now are we ready? Are we ready to rock and roll? Are we happy? Are we in our zen mood? Good, let's have another little sip of tea then. You rock. I thought it'd be a good idea just to settle into some colouring, because everything's a little bit up in the air at the moment, isn't it? I know, you're not alone. It's like this agitation. I can feel like a global agitation. You only have to venture out onto the roads to see how people are driving to know that there's a little bit of agitation going on. Right, and so in our little haven here, in our safe, happy and creative haven, we're just gonna chill, right? Let them get on with it. Let them get on with it. Let's just enjoy the colouring, right? And we're gonna really concentrate on what we're doing. Now, what do we need? Can I suggest that you get a bit of copy paper as well, like this. Just get a bit of paper so you can test the colours. I'll show you. See, I had a look and I tested the polychromos and I tested the pergoliners and I looked at the different colours, and I concluded that I liked these ones. Funny enough, I like not funny enough, I like the pergoliners for this job. I like that blue. So I've got, let me see, I've got B16, which is the lighter blue. Then I've got, I'll come in a bit closer in a minute, B4, which is the darker blue, but for blending pens, or basics, basically. Right, don't go to the A's, don't worry about the A's. And then for the yellow and the orange, I've got B10 and B9. They're similar but different. Where's the 10? 10's a bit peachier. See? It's a bit orangier, isn't it? And that was the only one where I thought I might venture in to that, but it's just the same. Look, really. So those are my 4, and then of course it's the blacks and the greys. So if you've got a black B pencil, that's handy too. B2. That's it. Handy. Right, so I've got my pencils ready. I'm waffling to give you a chance to get your bits together. And then I've got all my greys, that set of 12. Paul, dear Paul, can you put the link up for our set of 12 pencils of the greys, just in case there's somebody wondering what it is I'm talking about. And what we'll do is we'll get started on the Kingfisher. Right, you ready now? So I've got my piece of paper, I've got my pencils, and now I'm going to come in tight and we're going to get going. How's that sound? Here we are. Is that any good? And every now and again, we'll have a look at the original one. Now let's have a look at the crown. Let's start with the crown, because that's where I started. So let's look at the crown and let's see. See, when you look too close and you look closely, you can see it's alternate sections. So what we're going to do is try and build them into each other so that when you're looking from further away, it really does look like it does on a kingfisher, like speckles. Now we've got another thing that we might want to consider doing. If you've got a white pencil or a cream pencil or an ivory pencil, let's see if we can't add a little bit of resist as well. When we get to these areas, maybe we'll add a little bit of a fleck of resist. Yeah? So let's do this one, shall we? Let's start with the head. Right, you ready to rock and roll? I would suggest that we start with the darker colour. let's go with the darker colour. And we're going to do, right now I need my Dame Edna's on for this one. Right, you ready? Everybody happy? Good. Now, I'm just a bit concerned about these batteries, Paul. So I'm going to check in a minute. Right, and a sharpener. Or, if you haven't got, if you know that, where's that trick that I usually, here it is. The sanding block, if you want it to be sharper, but you don't want to lose all the pen. And you can always clean it off a bit. There you go. I just used a cloth to clean it off. That'll do. Don't have to replace the sanding block until there's nothing left. But if you want it to be sharp at the top, but you don't want to keep crunching and losing then these sanding blocks are ideal for that, because you just get a tip at the top, see? And that enables me to get right in on the real tight area. And then all I'm doing, look, I'll show you what I'm doing. I'm just going like that to get rid, and then I'm cleaning it like that. Okay, just so you wonder what I'm up to. And then when I've done that, I'll discard. So what we're going to do with this one is every other one. But let's not go too hard, and let's just start with every other one. So this is quite in there. And then what I found when I was doing this, it was easiest. And when I say every other one, I don't mean alternate like crisscross. I mean every other one going upwards. There you are. So you start with the dark, miss one. There we are. And just go up. And let's just establish the colour first before we go mad with depth. I think that's where I went wrong yesterday. I went in so dark so quickly that I spent the next wrong one. I spent the next hour trying to lighten it up again. Da-da. Right, mind the eye. Yeah, come on, let's just relax into this. So you can see what we're doing here. We're going up. Is this closer? Is that better? It's good to have your company. It's nice to be back. It was nice to have a break as well, though, I have to say. It was nice to have a break. Just to totally switch off, really, you know. You don't realise that you're on duty, you know. You just feel because you're always working, really, aren't you? Well, that's how it started to feel. And I only needed a couple of days off just to regroup, do a bit of ironing, do a bit of pottery. Did some nice pottery. Yeah. That's all you need, isn't it? Well, it's all I need. I'm quite a grateful little camper, really. Don't need lots. Did the telly on Sunday. That was fine. I've been doing some YouTubing. So I never really switch off. It's not in my makeup. I did switch off. I did. I certainly switched off from the things that are irking me, you know, like I was talking about. You don't realise how insidious the news is, and the fear-mongering, I think I'm going to call it. How to do that one there. You have to look at which ones you're colouring in so that they make sense. Here we go. Yeah, there is an element of fear-mongering, isn't there? It's like difficult to put into words, but you definitely feel it, the anxiety, don't you? I do. I don't know, maybe it's just me. Right, what have we got here? Now, let me just see. If I come in with that one on the dark blue and this one. See, I'm just using the tip to get in. That'd be nice. Everybody happy? What have we got there? That one there. You happy? You okay? Deep breath. All you got to do today is get through today. All you've got to do today is get through today. Tomorrow is another day. It's a 24-hour period, and all we've got to do let's make a decision. All we've got to do is get through to this evening and put our head back on that pillow. There you go. That doesn't sound half as bad now. I haven't got to solve the world's problems today. I really don't. And I don't know why I get up thinking that I do. Stupid girl. Right, so now I've done the darker one, the darker blue. Okay, done that. That's not hard, is it? We'll only do one at a time. We'll do one Kingfisher at a time, can't we? Do one at a time. Right, you got that? Just light blue like that, okay? Now let's go with a lighter blue. So this time we're going to go with B16. All right, but the B16, this is easier because you're going to just flash over the top, and because we've done the darker blue now, just flash over the top really lightly. This is a lesson in pressure. See? So this time you're just discolouring the white boxes, really. That's all. Not hard at all. You should certainly still be able to see where the dark ones are. You shouldn't have obliterated them, because this is a lighter blue now, isn't it? Okay. So now we've established which box is which. That's a good start. We've got that blue down. That helps as well. Do you know what we also need? Not quite yet, but in a minute. What about, hang on, what have I got here? I need a couple of these. You got any of these handy? When we get to doing the blending, I reckon these are going to be useful. Useful. Okay. So now let's do that head. And this time, what we'll do is, we'll take the dark one again. We'll go back in the dark area. Let me just show you something. Because what we want to do is get a bit of a... Right, I'm just sharpening that tip again. Right, here we go. So what we're going to do now is, let me just show you so you get it. We're going to put some depth on that side and then up. Let me do a couple so you can see what I'm up to. So that you don't want them all solid. See, I made mine too dark and then I regretted it, and I couldn't really, because I'd pressed so hard, I couldn't really do anything about it. So what I want to do now is just go in the dark blue one. Right, let me see if I can show you this. Come up close and then you'll see what I'm doing. So you're going in on the bottom and then just bringing up the shade. Yeah? Do that. Let's have a look. So you're going in there and you're bringing up the shade like that. So in there and then up. I wonder if you can see it better on this one. In there, on that line, and then up to the end. So in and up. In there and then up. So it's looking like a shadow. Just on the dark one. Yeah? If it doesn't look right, we can always go in and make it darker. If we think this looks rough, or it doesn't hit the spot, and the dark and dramatic was better, then you can always go back in, can't you, and just fill the lot in. But I've got a feeling that this might look better. I ran out of time yesterday evening when I was preparing, so I thought, oh, I'm going to have to just trust and wing it with you a bit. There we go. Actually, I reckon this is right, you know. Right, along that edge and then there. And if you need to sharpen or get that point, this is the way to go. And or just a sharp, let me see if that pencil sharpener is going to work for me. Gently does it. When you're sharpening your pencils, when you're actually using a sharpener, the trick is to go slowly. If you whistle, it's more often operator area when the pencil starts to crumble. Every now and again you might get a dodgy pencil, but in the main, it usually is because people are going too fast, not giving the wood a chance to cut. Oh, hang on, wrong one. Yeah, this is going to work. Right. Don't worry, we'll add a bit more depth, just not quite yet. Right, and if you want to get in pointy, then you have to hold your pencil up a little bit, don't you, to get in. Cool, you've got to have good eyesight for this one. Right, so now we've got a little bit of a shadow going there. Okay, I am going to suggest that we take the light one again and run again over the whole thing. Go again with the light one and go over the whole thing. Not too hard, just another layer of blue. Kingfisher blue, you know, that light, lovely light blue. Let's have a look. Right. Can always add it, and you can take it away as well with these pencils, but to be honest, it's easier. Right, this is starting to look nice. And what we'll do, while we've got this one in our hand, we're going to add a little bit of a, I won't call it fur because they don't have fur, but like down. I'm sure that's the word. You see the little spikes here? They're going to give you a clue. And what you're going to do is take your pointed light blue, right, that'll do, nice pointy light blue, and you're just going to flick in the same direction as those lines, like that. And that will give it a little bit of a gentle, just give it a bit of down. That's it. Good. Nice. God, it does work for calming the nerves, doesn't it? And why am I nervous, you ask? You tell me. You tell me why I'm nervous. Now, while you've got the light blue in your hand, let's just look, I'll show you. The light blue, we're going to do a little bit of light blue there, a little bit of light blue there. These two bits here, these two portions. Let's do that a little bit there. Okay. So again, light circular motions just to cover up that colour. Just get the colour down. There you go. That's it. Nice. Just lightly. In fact, why don't we add a little bit to the top of the beak as well? Just a little tiny bit of blue to the top of the beak. Nice. Yeah. This bit's going to be orange. This bit here, can you just feather in a little bit of light blue in that direction? Because we're going to feather in a little bit of orange in that direction in a minute. Let's just feather in some blue there. Okay. Get some depth going. Thing about these colouring postcards, they're sort of bite size, aren't they? They're a nice size, and as you start to colour them in and you see the detail, you start to see all the different. Right, while we've got the light one in our hand, let's do a little bit on this one too, right? So what we'll do is you've got layers here, so let's just feather down the light blue down this way. Leave it, well, you're going to do the whole thing really, but yeah, come on then, let's just do the whole thing in a light blue so there's no white. But really, really lightly. This is definitely a lesson in no pressure. There you go. Yeah, speaking of no pressure, it's the weirdest thing. I woke up this morning, and I don't know if you're like this. What's different today? I woke up yesterday morning. Yesterday was Tuesday. Yeah, and I was as happy as Larry, whoever Larry is. He's obviously a happy chappy, right? I was as happy as Larry. What's going on here? Oh yeah, and I didn't have a care in the world. Really full of beans, you know. And then this morning I woke up, and as soon as I opened my eyes, I was anxious, I was worried, I was nervous, and I thought, well, hang on a minute, Gray. Nothing's changed. Nothing since yesterday in this 24-hour period has changed in your life at all. So what is your problem? And you know what? I realise that it's an inside job. It's all about what's going on in my head. It's that I've often spoken about, the washing machine head. And it's the strangest thing. Nothing has changed in my little world. not a sausage. And yet this morning I woke up and I was not unhappy, but really uptight. And I thought, well, is it something going on? Is it something coming up? Because the only thing I had coming up was you guys, and I don't think that you make me anxious, you know. There. So let's get another little point going. So I want to get in on this bit here where it's underneath. Yeah, but maybe what we could do is take the darker one. I wonder if we take the darker one. Have a look. Yeah, there you go. Take the darker one and make a point with it. Let's see. Either make a point with the pencil sharpener or with the... Come on, Grey. Or with the... Yeah, so what I'm saying is, there we go. So what we're going to do now is just come in here and just light feathery strokes inside these bits. Yeah, let's get some blue. Just get the blue down first, eh? It's pretty. Layers. And yeah, so I lay there and I thought, well, what's wrong with me? Why am I so miserable today then? What's happening? And you know, I thought about it and I thought, I'm going to have to figure it out because I don't like that feeling, you know, and I'm trying to, I don't want to spend my life anxious. So I started thinking about it and I know what it is now and I'm going to share it with you. I have a deep-seated fear of criticism. That's what it is. It is, you know. And I reckon that many of you will completely empathise. You will understand this. It's not that the SHAC makes me anxious. I make me anxious because I think I'm not good enough to do this. That's what this is, right? And so every time we do the SHAC, especially as it goes on, because of course it's getting more and more challenging. When in the beginning we were just doing birds on a wire, you know, and the focus was very much on survival, wasn't it? On keeping each other company, and still it should be really, right, for my own sanity. But what I figured out, and I did it this morning, I did a bit of soul searching, just got to be quiet and sit with yourself for a minute and say, well, what's different today? And I figured out that it's a fear, a deep-seated fear of criticism. And I know you'll go, well, yeah, I'm not criticising you. What's up with you? It's nothing to do with that. I know that in the main, people wouldn't criticise what we're doing or what I'm doing here, right? It's not that. This goes back a lot further than the SHAC. Do you see? This isn't... All the SHAC is a platform to bring those feelings back. That's that. That's what I mean. You know? This goes back to when we were tiny, when I was tiny. And I bet, a lot of it has to do with school, but I reckon that a lot of you will completely understand where I'm coming from now when I say this. You know, that I can rationalise it all away. I can rationalise it all away completely. And I can say, these are my friends. They're not going to criticise me. They're not going to say, well, she got the head on that Kingfisher wrong, she's useless. I hope you're not anyway. Do you know what I mean? That would be absurd, wouldn't it? You know? But in here, and I would argue that many of us have this. This isn't a Barbara specific thing. I'm just Joe Average, right? There's something that has taught me, and it's sat with me during my formative years, and here I am, 62, still got it, that I'm not good enough, or I'm not enough, or I'm not bringing what I should be to the table. Yeah, I know, what can you say? But in the main, I would argue that's for a lot of us. So how do I, well, as soon as I pinpointed it, the weirdest thing was, as soon as I figured it out, I went, whoa, well, that's ridiculous. See, I can consciously, at a conscious level, I can go, well, don't be ridiculous. What are you talking about? Like they're going to worry about your Kingfisher cape. Do you know what I mean? At a conscious level, I can dismiss that almost as quickly as the thoughts come. Once I've located the discomfort, what it is that's the pressure point, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah. But the thing that I want to learn how to do is get rid of it forever. And I don't mean get cocky. I don't mean, it's not that at all. It's not that I want to get so blasé, it's like, you know, that I don't care what people think, because it's not that. But I shouldn't be worrying about my inadequacy. Does anybody understand what I'm saying? I hide it well, I know I do. So I gave myself a bit of a stiff talking to earlier. You know, you got to, when you're doing live TV, you know, this is why I figured out what it is, because I was the same on Sunday. See, Friday, nothing, no performance. Saturday, nothing, no performance. Sunday, miserable, performance. Monday, Tuesday, fine. Wednesday, miserable again. So it's like, well, hang on a minute. Well, what's the common denominator? Oh, that's right. You're setting yourself up for potential criticism. And once you realise that that is the core root problem of your anxiety, that doesn't mean I'm going to stop doing what I do. I've got to, what's the word? Reframe my thinking. I've got to do a reframe on how I think about things. I've got to look at it and say, well, that's absolutely absurd, right? You're very good at what you do. You're fine at what you do. You are enough. You are adequate. It's good enough. And I don't mean good enough as it could be better. That's what the teachers always say. Oh, it's good enough. It'll do. No, I don't mean that. I mean, it's enough. It's great. It's sorted. And I don't need a pat on the back. I just need to, in my head, I just need to figure out that I am enough doing what I'm doing. And you are enough doing what you're doing. You know that old adage where people used to say, you know, like we make things and people say, well, he who has never made a mistake has never made anything, you know, and that is so right, isn't it? Like, are you following me here? Sorry for waffling, but if we could do this in silence if you prefer. But do you get what I'm saying here? I'm sure you do. See, wherever it's underneath, we've got to add a bit of shadow. So that's where you sharpen your blue. I'm going with the darker blue. I mean, you could make your Kingfishers tealier. Tealy? Turquoisier, if you wanted to, couldn't you? See, now we're doing little light feathery strokes. All right, we're going to do some stippling in a minute. Your favourite pastime. Yeah. It's like, I'll tell you who really gets on my pip. You know the film critics? And they sit there and they think, well, and I think to myself, well, have you ever actually been in a film then? Are you an actor? I didn't know. I've never seen you in a performance. And they sit there and they crucify these actors, you know? They just give them, you know, like the Rotten Tomatoes stuff, these judges, the critics, the film critics and the book critics. And you think, it's vile, really. It's vile. You know, tread gently. You're treading on someone's dreams there. You're treading on someone's life work. You know, those actors and actresses, they're doing the best they can. And if you think that it's not good, you form your own opinion. But don't go broadcasting it as if it were gospel, you know. He was particularly the other night, and I thought, do you know what, I don't want to listen to you anymore. He was particularly disparaging, rude, I would call it. It's another word, simple word, one syllable. He was rude about a film. And I haven't seen the film. And I thought, well, you know, I ought to be making my own mind up, really, not listening to you. Just because it's not your cup of tea, I might love it. Just because you think that, I might think it's brilliant. And he gets paid to sit there and judge like that. And I just think, yeah, not great, really. And I think a lot of people, they never put their head above the parapets. They never, you know, that's why I'm so proud when I see you putting your artwork up on Facebook and, you know, Clarity Worldwide. It's a safe place anyway, isn't it? It's a great place for that, because people are very kind, you know, non-judgmental. There are no judges in this building. Certainly not here. How's this looking? I wonder. Let me just see. I need a clean nib to do this. Just let me see if it's time to blend yet. Hold on a moment. I just want to see if I want to blend these bits before we start stippling. Let me just see. Oh yeah, that's quite nice actually. Smoothing that out. Yeah. So at that level, for your good selves, you know, the SHAC's been a real, I think, it's been great to watch people put their artwork out and put it on display, you know, like in a virtual gallery, and send their artwork and their creations to friends and get them framed and put them on the wall, and, you know, it's brilliant, really. I can remember, I tell you, when I realised that there was something not healthy in the way I think about my own capability, or I went to see. We have got two friends, Jill and Debbie. They're lovely ladies. They're married now. They live in Texas. They're my closest friends. They're just wonderful people, and they lived down here. They lived near us. Before they moved to Texas, in the Medway towns actually, and one day they invited us to supper. I think I've told you this, but I'm going to tell you again anyway. And they invited us to supper. Come on, we need a bit of a sharper point on this pencil now, so I'm going to sharpen it slowly. That'll do. And they invited us to supper, and when we went in, obviously they're Clarity customers, and I know what's missing. On the light ones here, we're going to add a little bit of a shadow on the bottom ledge. So before we do anything else, see on that edge there, it almost is, oh, this reminds me of that stamp frame I'm going to talk about in a minute. Yeah, so we went to Debbie and Jill's, and when we walked in, the walls were covered in their artwork, like covered. Frames, beautiful, stamped, stencil work, paint work, great big framed pictures. I mean, like, seriously, wall to wall. Every room you went in, went upstairs, in their living room was upper floor, went in there was loads of artwork. It was like, and what it struck me, right, this is where it struck me. And this is where Debbie, she always says to me, if I'm like questioning myself, which I always do, she says, go, ta-da, like that, see? And she spread her legs out and go, ta-da! And that was our kind of greeting, ta-da! And I thought, why can't I be this? You know, like, you come in my house, there is now, I learned from them, there was no artwork. You would never know that I've been making art prolifically for 30 plus years. There wasn't a single, not any evidence at all of my art on display in my house. And I thought, what a sad indictment of my attitude towards my own self, you know? Isn't that bad, you know? And so I remember I Nobody goes up there anyway except Dave and me. But I started, this looks good now. I started, I created a little gallery in the hallway up to the bedroom. I mean, it's only him and me goes up there. But I got all these pieces framed and I put them on the wall, and then sometimes on the way down the stairs in the morning or in the afternoon going back up, I'd look at my artwork and I think, I did that. And then I'd look at it and I think, crikey, actually it's pretty good. For somebody who's so rubbish at what they do, Barbara, that's pretty cool. And yeah, weird thinking, you know, weird thinking. I'm going to use a little tiny bit of grey on this beak now, just to tone down that whiteness. And underneath, on the under part of the beak, what grey am I using? Oh, I know, I can hear you. You can use any grey you fancy. Look, 231, cold grey. I've got a cold grey, warm grey, light grey, any grey you like. Yeah, pencil. There you go, tone that blue down. So he hasn't got a blue beak, he's got like a dirty blue, he's got a dirty blue beak with a little bit of black underneath. I looked him up, I know. Yeah. So I learnt a lot from Debbie and Jill, I really did. And you know what's brilliant now? I've got to tell you this. Guess what they're doing in Texas? Guess what they've signed up for? Yep, pottery. I know, pottery. They're doing pottery. And yesterday, Debbie sent me pictures of the tiles that she's doing using Clarity stencils, and they're so beautiful. And her first mug, and it's like, I know now their house is going to be full of their pottery. Mine's not. Mine's not. So it's like, okay, I've got to learn that lesson as well. It's deep-rooted, this stuff. It's deep-rooted. Takes time. Isn't that strange? Yeah, I know. Yeah, so before I forget as well, hang on a minute, let me just, I've got carried away here with my grey. So now, long sweeping down the beak, undercarriage, just to get that dark grey, right? Okay, let's do that. Nice. What one's this then? Cold grey 5. I was looking for my Payne's grey, my fave, which is in that set of 12, but I can't find it. I mean, it's a miracle I can find anything in it. Right, now here, we're going to make a little nostril, if that's what it's called. There you go, beautiful kingfisher nostril. Have you ever seen a kingfisher? I saw, the only kingfisher I've ever seen was on the Thames, and I was with my mum and dad in a boat. We went for the local, a couple of years ago this was, and we went on a trip, a coach trip with their local, what do you call it, like community. They once a year they do a run out somewhere, and they went to I don't know, we ended up on the Thames on a boat trip. We went to where the Magna Carta was signed and all that good stuff, and then we went on a boat trip. And I got so excited that I saw this kingfisher, because they're like that, right? Like the same as like woodpeckers. And I saw this flash of this iridescent turquoise just fly through the weeping willows on the side of the Thames. And I said to my dad, "Did you see that kingfisher, Dad? Did you see it? Did you see it?" Yeah, yeah, he said. And I was so excited about this little kingfisher. And then everybody in the boat all rushed to that side of the boat to see the kingfisher. We nearly capsized. It was fun. That's the only time I've ever seen a kingfisher. And it was so fast, you know, nearly missed it. Yeah, and then I said to Dave, "Have you ever seen a kingfisher?" He said, yeah, plenty, when I was a kid. I thought, well, I was there, but I missed them with my observational skills. Right, a little bit of grey just to tone down and add a bit of depth here, you see? So this is going to, now with the grey, see if you add a little bit of grey around this bit, it pushes the other bit to the background, yeah? So this here, for example, this is going to be good. Now let me tell you a couple of things as well while we're doing this. Here we go. So this evening at 6 o'clock, our Paul, is launching a magnificent collection of artwork by Linda Williams. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. I think there are 4 plates, aren't there, Paul? Just lovely. So gorgeous. The artwork that Linda's prepared for Paul to serve you this evening at 6. Just beautiful, isn't it, Paul? Quite astounding, actually. That's groovy parchment. So since Paul's doing the Groovy Tuesday, we thought he might as well. He's in the saddle on that one. So he's going to do that. And so that's 6 o'clock this evening on Hochanda, or should I say the craft store. So that'll be good. I think you'll enjoy that. Now we're going to go in here. Right, I don't want to make this too dark though. I'm going too dark here because that's all right though. It's a bit of contrast, look. It's a little bit darker there than I should go, but that's where your rubber comes in. Eraser, the pink one. So if I feel I've gone too much, the good news is about the blending pencil. See, if this was watercolour, I couldn't do this. There you go. Take it out, grey. Right, that'll do. Yeah, so at 6 o'clock this evening, then at 8 o'clock this evening, then I'll be standing in the corner mopping his brow. Then 8 o'clock in the morning, Paul, right? Then 12 o'clock and 4 o'clock tomorrow. Stop permitting. Stop permitting. I think we're going to have a quick sellout on these, though. I've got a feeling. These are something that you've been waiting for. Right. Very, very pretty. Okay. I think the next thing we want to do, I'm liking this. I think the next thing is, let's do a bit of stippling. Should we do some light stippling first? Let's just see. Right. Get your point. You need a bit of a... I'm going to use the light blue for this jobby. I know you love stippling. We could play Name That Tune again if you like. Now let's see. Okay, stipple. Dot, 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 dot. Right, and what we're going to do, let's check out let's look at the one I've already done so you can see where I'm going with the stippling. Let it focus. Right, see where we've just done the darker shade is where we're going to do the stippling. Don't worry about the chest, the orange. We can do that on Friday. So where the blue is, where the dark blue is, we're going to now do a bit of stippling. So I'm going to start with this bit here, get my eye in. And you don't have to go fast. You just got to keep your eye on the... Keep your eye on the tip. And then that way you'll stay in the area. That's the theory anyway. And you hold your pencil perpendicular, upright. This is going to look lovely. That's going to be orange, so don't go there. This is going to be orange, remember? Don't worry, we're not doing any orange today. Do the orange on Friday. Friday's the orange day. Yeah, so that's what Paul's doing at 6 o'clock this evening. And then, what did I want to tell you about? Oh yeah, that's what this reminds me of when we were doing the shading just now on the head. Right, next Wednesday, do you remember when we were celebrating the SHAC and the house that Barb built? We got this set, we sent these postcards out that Dee designed. Look, beautiful. Show you. Right, so we've got these beautiful postcard designs, haven't we, to celebrate the SHAC. And then to commemorate that, we've been hanging on to this to commemorate our year in the SHAC. We made the set of stamps, didn't we? Right, where is it? Here. Let me show you the set of stamps. So this is the set that these 2 pieces of artwork have been made from. And, hang on, so now... The thing about the frame, because this reminds me, do you remember when we drew this right in the beginning in the SHAC? The thing with the frame is that if you lay it down, excuse me Kingfisher, I need you to move over a bit. Right, if you do that and then you lay it down on there, this is like a 5 by 7 inch mega mount, right, huge. So you've got your mount on there. But if you wanted to, you could change the shape of it. This is the cool bit, look, see, because it sticks. So for example here, you can see that it's been pulled out like that, look, right? So that's why you need a 5x7. Look at this, isn't it cool? But when we drew it, see, the way that the stamp's been made is when you stamp it in black, that's what you get. So how you decide to, where you decide to put it, it's up to you. And of course, the thing is, when you take it off, it just pings right back. That's a clarity stamp for you. It just pings straight back, and you can put it back on its carrier sheet, right? Like so. Now, the thing is, I was looking at this and I thought, I know how to do this. Dee knows how to do this. But if you were to receive this set of stamps, you'd think, well, it's got the masks for the trees and the... It's got the masks for the trees and the houses, too, a pair of. So, but how do you build the landscape? How do you do that? You know, or how do you make this landscape? It's all very nice. A lot of you will have these postcards because they came out as a gift. And also, we're selling the postcards now, aren't we? Oh, hang on. She's putting in the sales pitch. Hold on, friends. Do you remember these wonderful postcards? Look, you can buy them. Look, you don't even have to buy the stamp, buy the postcard. Look, they're lovely. They're so nice. We've got so many different ones. I know, look. We've got some really lovely postcard packs, eh? Oh, stay safe. Have a wonderful day. Yeah, nice. So there's a whole area. Paul, put the link up for the website because they're so good for inspiration and they're so easy to send to friends as well. You know, when you don't want to make a card, make. So it's handmade, but not handmade, if you know what I mean. You can finish it. You can use it as a topper on a nice card. But what I thought was, I think it would be worth having a moment of clarity and a get-together, like a little craft-along. So next Wednesday is the day that we've elected. Wednesday evening, it's the 14th of April. And if you've got this set, then have it ready on Wednesday the 14th of April, if you can, in the evening, 7 o'clock. There's nothing on the telly. I'm telling you. Whoever watching. Okay. So join me. Right, and all that we're going to use, I can tell you what you're going to need. See, and we've still got plenty of time if you want to join in with the craft along. I'm going to show you how to do one or both of these pieces of artwork. I'm going to show you how to build these landscapes. So what you don't need a lot. You don't need a lot. If you need your pergolines, you've got your pencils. You're going to need an ink pad, an archival ink pad. You probably, if you could, get hold of you probably might have these from the last time. Remember the landscape moons? Just any moons will do. You need a moon, right, or a sun. And then makeup sponges if you've got them. And a bit of luxury, if you've got the brushes, happy days. If you've got our stencil brushes, you need those. I always use the same thing, stencil brushes. And then as far as colours go, we can use... we can either use ink pads. Have you got a set of these? Like that? One of those? See, because we could use the ink pads, couldn't we? And a makeup sponge. So pick any one of these. Let me make a recommendation. What do I think? Right, golden turmeric. If you're going to get one of them, get either haystack or golden turmeric, will you? Oh, yeah, they're all lovely. I'm just looking here because you've got ocean reef. Right, I bet we've run out of these now I've said that. That's the one you're after. If you're going to get just one, get that one. If you're going to get two, then any of the other ones. I'd go with haystack. Yeah, golden turmeric and haystack, if I were asked. Right. So you don't need lots, but the brush is going to give us a lovely edge. Then we need a little bit of pergolina pencils or polychromos pencils, a makeup sponge. If you've got a couple of makeup sponges, honestly, we've got 500,000 of them coming. They're on the boat. They will be here, but not before next Wednesday. Oh, get a makeup sponge. All right, get a makeup sponge. Find a makeup sponge. You can wash them. I've been washing mine. I've been recycling. Right, but if you want to join in with me next Wednesday, 7 o'clock in the evening, not in the morning. In the morning, we're going to do the SHAC at 10, but then in the evening, we're going to have a craft along. And I'm going to show you how to build landscapes. We'll just show you a couple of little tricks and tips, how to do that stuff, okay? Yeah, that'd be good. And there's also OU Groovers, there's also this SHAC plate, look, groovy plate. And it's similar, look, this is so easy really, because the landscape's already been mapped out for you. You just add a few trees if you fancy. But what you could do is make that one, that composition, yeah, and you can extend this as well, couldn't you? I might have to have a go with this and do a YouTube on it. I feel it coming on. Right, so anyway, so that's next Wednesday. Next Wednesday, I think we'll have some fun. It's nice to get together. The last couple that we've done have been so fun. When we did the reflection one with the ducks and that, I really enjoyed that with the masks, didn't you? You know, so it's just building up skills, but there's something about crafting along together, and it's free. All you need is the gear. You just need the stuff, but the tuition is from me to you. Because I'm enough. I'm no expert, but I'm good enough to do that, okay? I'm definitely good enough to rally the troops and get you fired up and show you a few tricks and tips. Okay, so where are we on this? I think that we must be getting to the end now, aren't we? I think we're going to draw this to a logical conclusion. As far as the stippling goes, we could go with the darker colour over the top. See, this one's much darker than that one. Look, right, I prefer my original one. But then I wasn't talking when I was doing my original one. But you can go, so here we go. If you've done too much, you can either blend it in or rub it out. Those are your choices, right? So I can take a bit of colour out if I don't like it, because I've gone too heavy. Yeah, I might do that. I might just lose a little bit of the blue. Cool, it's so easy to do as well. There you go. That's better. And now I'll sharpen my blue, and now I'll do some stippling. And when we get together on Friday, we'll do the belly, the orange part. We'll add the orange, we'll do the eye. Okay? Don't worry about, if you want to run ahead, if you want to get ahead, that's fine. You do what you need to do. Sorry. You do what you need to do. If you want to get ahead of us, that's fine. But what we'll do on Friday is do the other half of the bird, the orange part. Okay? And that will do for today, I think. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the waffle. And I hope that it means something to you. I hope that you're actually able to kind of, what's the word? Empathise? I think that's the word. Empathy. You know, when it's that commonality. I think a lot of us, the reason that we hang out together and we get on is because we've got so much in common. You know, it's the commonality. And it's not until you open up and you start talking about what's going on inside, then you start to realise just how much we've got in common, you know, and then we can find a solution. We can. So I look forward to seeing you again on Friday morning at 10 o'clock. And we shall carry on with our Kingfishers, our common Kingfisher. There's nothing common about this little fella, I can tell you. I'll see you then. Paul, thanks for all your help. And don't forget, 6 o'clock tonight on the craft store with Paul to see some fantastic demonstrations created by Linda herself. Lots of love. Bye-bye now.